Hello and welcome back. Before I start talking, I just want to give you a little view. Such a beautiful location. You can see the entire city where I live just behind me there. There's a deep secret that's hidden in pain, whatever form that it takes in your life. From an early age, from childhood, it seems that pain is something that we want to do everything we possibly can to avoid in our lives. You can see it in a child, you can see it in a kid, teenager, adult. There seems to be this natural response to avoid pain. And of course, it makes sense. When you're talking about physical pain, kind of seems, I might be using the wrong word, masochistic, to go into your physical pain, to hurt yourself physically, and so on. And of course it does. To me it does anyways. It doesn't make sense. But when it comes to emotional pain, you can cut yourself by accident, on purpose, and that pain will only last for a short period of time in comparison to emotional pain. Emotional pain tends to leave a scar that not only changes, in the same way that a physical scar will change your skin and it'll look different, an emotional scar or pain will leave a scar that will change your personality. And maybe it's because we spend our whole lives trying to build a certain personality, that we want to avoid the pain of emotional trauma, emotional pain. We want to avoid it. Maybe. But there's a deep, deep, deep secret that's hidden in pain, hidden in the pain that you so dearly want to avoid with all of your might. They haven't come up with the name a spiritual warrior for nothing. Because to be a spiritual warrior means to have the most courage possible, and that is to face your emotional pain, your emotional traumas. You could use the word pain to categorize any type of emotional dis-ease, emotional unrest, distress, whatever you want to call it. We could just call it all pain. But the secret is that pain is directly, I was going to use the word correlated, directly related to your growth. Emotional pain is exactly what we need in this 3D world, in this realm, in order for us to grow and mature. Pain has been very much understood. Pain is like water to a tree, but for us in an emotional level. Have you ever heard of the term growing pains? When you're a teenager, you experience them early in your life. You might get these aches and pains. But we don't realize that emotionally that pain has a use. And its secret is that it acts very much the same way that time does with wine. You leave grapes ferment, you add a few things here and there, and with the amount of time that passes, it turns into wine. And in that same way, pain has this transformational effect on a human being. You become like wine. You become more refined. I was going to say it has this ability to make other people drunk. And in a sense, you kind of do, but not in the same way. Maybe not the best analogy. There is some type of a attractive energy that a person who has been through a lot in his life, they give off this sort of vibe that's infectious, that everybody around them says that person has something. People seek wisdom from that person. They'll tend to confide in him or her. More likely they'll trust that person, because subconsciously we all know that people who have been through a lot have wisdom. Most of the time they're very wise people. And wisdom is something that a person practices themselves. Once you've been through a certain amount of pain in yourself, a lot of the struggles in your life, they drop on their own. Because if you try to hold, for example, a hot coal in your hand, unless you can't feel pain, you're going to just drop it automatically. And emotional pain, once you've experienced enough emotional pain, that's what happens, is you can drop it. You do drop it. Now, the thing that's unfortunate, in a way, when it comes to emotional pain versus physical pain, is that with emotional pain, you can choose to look away. You can choose to hide from it by distracting yourself, by making your external world more noisy than your internal world. You can drown your sorrows through drugs, television, anything that will give your body a dopamine response. Dopamine is the number one painkiller when it comes to emotional pain. So we give ourselves these quick fixes in order to have us avoid the depths of our sorrow. And that's very unfortunate, because dopamine is more addictive than anything, because everything that you do, if it's drinking, eating too much, smoking, it doesn't matter, it all stimulates the dopamine response in your body. So dopamine is the only thing that every human being is actually addicted to when it comes to what I'm talking about here. The quick fix, distractions. But even at that, at a certain point, you can only hold that pain for so long. And some people can carry it for their whole lives. See, this is why I suggest to face your pain, to look at it directly, be aware of it. Because only when you're aware that you're holding a hot coal, when it comes to your emotional being, can you feel the pain. And just in the same way that holding a hot coal, you automatically drop the coal because it burns you, in that same way, when you are aware, emotionally, you're aware, you don't need to do anything when it comes to dropping the pain. When it comes to whatever it is that you feel is causing your pain in your life, it will drop on its own when you can shine the light of your awareness on what it is that's happening inside of you. So that's the real secret to pain, is to be aware of the pain. When it comes to transmutation, alchemy, being the best version of yourself, whatever name you can give it, the key is awareness of your pain. So pain is the key, and awareness is turning the key. Which is why they call people who are on the spiritual journey sincere seekers, spiritual warriors, because we have the courage that it takes to face that pain. So wherever you are around the world, whatever time it is that you're watching this video, thank you, thank you, thank you. Peace.